Hi folks, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Saturday at 2:30. Every Saturday at 2:30 I shoot a 10-minute video blog here on Facebook Live on some aspect of life coaching, hypnosis, the arts and sciences of hypnotism, or spirituality, or anything else that catches my fancy, quite frankly. I'll later edit this and put it up on my YouTube channel, and you're welcome to find it there if you'd like. Today, I want to talk about something called compartmentalization, a long word for putting things in compartments, putting boundaries or limits around something. And specifically, we use this in organizing our own thoughts and our own emotions for adaptive purposes. Now, when compartmentalization was first described in the literature of psychology, it was generally understood as a bad thing, that people would use it to insulate themselves from cognitive dissonance while they did things that were really wrong. For example, a person might consider themselves a good family member and a loving parent, but in their job, they're a concentration camp guard. And the way they deal with the dissonance is they compartmentalize the work at the concentration camp and don't think about it at any other time. And when they're home, they just act as if they weren't a concentration camp guard. We see this sometimes with people who are on the job sex abusers or racists. When they're on the job, that's how they're behaving in a very disrespectful and improper way. But when they're home, they behave very differently. They may be a loving member of their family to their spouse, and it's until they get to work that the rules change. And they keep those two compartments separate. So the tendency of people to use compartmentalization as a way of doing bad things in one part of their life led it to be denounced as a bad thing to be avoided. You want to be a unified person, we used to say back when I was in school and being trained. We now know that's not true. There are times when the ability to compartmentalize is absolutely essential to effective living. Members of the clergy, and I am one, often find this. When I was a parish minister, I might have to go from a wake where everyone's yelling and screaming and in pain to a wedding where everyone's delighted and happy, to a christening where everyone's burbling with positive emotions, to my consulting room where I'm dealing with someone who's dealing with some form of spiritual brokenness. And I can't let the concerns of one of those areas corrupt my ability to function in the other area. I can't bring the pain of the funeral to the wedding. I can't bring the bubbling happiness of the christening to the consultation room. They've got to stay in their compartments. Members of the clergy, also other helping professionals, will often talk about making a distinction between professional self and personal self. Your personal self might be all upset. You had a fight with your spouse, or your family's in an uproar, but you've still got to get into that pulpit and speak effectively. Doesn't matter if your heart's broken. If you're a surgeon, the fact that you were up all night dealing with your sick child, you still got to be there for your patient when the operation happens the next morning. This is true of law enforcement officers, firefighters. They may love and care about their family, but they still have to be able to run into a burning building. Any helping professional needs to be able to put one part of their life in a box to deal with the concerns of another part of their life, especially in their professional work. Now, compartmentalizing in this way appears to be easier for some people than for others. If you've ever had training in crisis management, one of the things you'll be told is In times of crisis, natural leaders will emerge. These are people who have simply inherited a brain wiring that is such that when things are going to hell, they become stimulated and function at a higher level. They're the ones who don't break down in the corner crying about all the bad stuff that's happened, but they organize the search party, they organize the team to dig the people out of the rubble, they take action to change what's going on. And they just have different brain wiring, and they're able to compartmentalize the emotion from the needs of the moment. And in crisis management training, you're told that when these people come forward, you use them because they're likely to be even more effective in that role than you are. But compartmentalization is, like many dangerous things, a two-edged sword. This is a dagger, medieval pattern. I collect blades. What makes a dagger so deadly is it has two edges. And compartmentalization has two edges. It can be a tremendous advantage. It can be a tremendous liability. And you've got to be self-aware enough to know when you should compartmentalize and when you need to put it aside. If you've got family members that are claiming your attention and wanting you to be over-caring, or they're trying to be financially abusive, they want you to invest in their businesses or pay their credit cards or whatever, you need to be able to compartmentalize your financial interest from your emotional interest to make good decisions in both arenas. But the danger is that if you do this a lot, you can become emotionally unavailable. You've got everything in your head, in your rational side, and all the emotional stuff is compartmentalized, and you never look at it. You never get there. The great Greek philosopher Plato, in his Apology, the name of the book, where he's recounting the words of his teacher Socrates shortly before Socrates committed suicide at the behest of the city fathers of the Greek city-state where he lived. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And I absolutely agree. All of us need to have the capacity for self-examination. In Latin, the exumen. And this is something that people in the Middle Ages were taught to do by their parish priests or spiritual directors. Basically, periodically sit down and ask yourself, what are the compartments that I've got going in my life, and are they appropriate? You know, I'm a HeartMath certified coach, and the HeartMath Institute, based in California, probably is the best group doing good research in mind-body interaction. One of the things that the HeartMath system talks about is the 4 domains of resilience: the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. And it can be a wonderful exercise to do, is to sit down and ask yourself, how am I doing in those 4 domains? Am I giving good range and expression to my emotions? Am I cultivating my mental and intellectual life? What's my spirituality like? Or has that gone by the wayside because I got busy? Am I taking good care of my physical self? I'm a journal keeper, and so it becomes really easy periodically when you review your journal materials to just, in the margin, put a symbol. Okay, this is mental functioning, this is emotional functioning, this is spiritual functioning. And then flip through and see, how are you doing in these domains? Or do you have everything packed into one compartment, or just a few? That kind of examination is really important so that you have the skill of being able to compartmentalize concerns of one area of your life or one type of processing, whether emotional or mental or intellectual, from others. But at the same time, to be able to be self-critical enough to realize I'm standing on one leg, or I'm standing on not enough support, I've got everything in one compartment or in a few compartments, and I need to be broader in my self-focus. Journal keeping is a great way to do that. Meditation may do it for you if you do a guided meditation, so you're covering all the different bases. One of the best ways is to have a coach or a spiritual director whose job it is to ask you those questions and to push a bit against resistance, or stubbornness. Compartmentalization is essential to be able to function, especially at difficult times. But it's easy to get in the habit of doing that all the time, and that's bad. So it cuts both ways, just like my dagger here. Hey, thank you very much for your time and attention. I will be back next Saturday with another talk on a different topic. Stay well, stay safe, and if I can be of help to you, don't hesitate to reach out. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please feel free to like, subscribe, or share. Take care.